Okay, I just got through picking up my coffee at Dutch Brothers Coffee. Heading out to this strange town. It's like 2.5 hours away from the island. There's a reservation ride. It's not much, but it's only paying $53. It's typical the way Uber really did it cancel? Oh crap. What is that guy doing? The reservation. Where did it go? Oh, it's still there. Okay, the app is acting weird. That's okay. So yeah, it's a 10 a.m. pickup. It's a hour and a half drive for them. 91 minute drive, 90 miles. They're going all up to Three Rivers, only paying $53. But I figured I'd go ahead and take it anyway. Head to San Antonio afterwards. Do a part of that trip. So I want to head up there and straddle those pieces of wood. Yeah, it was kind of weird that when you go over here and I went to opportunities, it wasn't showing up. Now it's there. Okay. I'll start recording right now, and I haven't done one in a while. I'm waiting for the latest version of software. Dirty Tesla's already received it. I see it going out to just 2 Model 3s and a bunch of Cybertrucks. Even a bunch of Cybertrucks who have not seen version 14 yet. So they pushed it up on the latest build, which is nice. So hopefully I'll see that download option shortly. Sometime today, I hope. And I probably should have matched with that short ride, try to get a couple of short rides here. There's like a $2.50 bonus on your next ride there at the Valley Airport. Only problem is if you get that and you don't get any other rides before your reservation ride, you lose that. They don't apply that to reservation rides. So I've turned off the destination mode in Uber because it looked like that ride had canceled. But that was just an app hiccup. But this location for this pickup the person to the reservation, it goes over in a large area. That's why I saw it. They're 100 miles from the border, so it's a border checkpoint before you get there. Because there's always border checkpoints 100 miles from the border. Makes sense, doesn't it? That's the way it is. But it's also kind of sad to think that I started at 6 this morning, and it's 8, almost 8. Driving from South Padre Island up through Port Isabel and Los Fresnos, San Benito, and Harlingen, and nothing. That one request, or that one that could have requested there, that's it. That's why I'm kind of heading up towards San Antonio. Area is a lot busier. I do hate on the northern side, northeastern side of San Antonio, there's some interstate construction that the car does not get the exits correct. It's all messed up. And even me looking, trying to figure it out, I can't figure it out. They got it really, what looks like your exit you get on turns out to be an overpass, passing where your exit would have been or could have been. I have to pass it and turn around and come back. So I can't really blame the car for getting it wrong. I can't even get it right. And it's kind of, hard when I in a way, when I'm used to the car doing the driving and the navigation. Because then when you're reading the signs beforehand and such road's closed, I don't know if I'm taking that road or not. I have no clue until I get there. And if they tell you to take an exit before that, like I say, if you don't know, if you're not familiar, it's hard to say. Like right here, I know I'm going to be up in 10 miles taking FM 490. Okay, fine. That's the one I'm taking. I think it's exit 45. But if they say Sebastian Street exit closed or what have you, and if that just so happens to be that name of that street, not the FM 490, how am I to know, if I'm not familiar with the area? And I do see a lot of streets named the same, or the exit named differently than what it says it's going to take. Business north. A lot of windmills out here, and it seems like they're installing more and more. Again, this is I'm currently on FSD 14.1.4. Currently the build 2025.32.8. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen to read. I've had my car for 5 months and 2 days now, and I already have 59,503 miles. I have replaced the windshield 3 times. I have another crack in it that it's not troubling me there, so I'm waiting on that. I'm going to have to do a 4th windshield replacement soon. I do subscribe to the Tesla windshield replacement program. It's only $15 a month. I recommend it. I had to use Tesla roadside service the first time the other night when my tire went out. I was coming back from Houston, was getting near Corpus Christi, and all of a sudden I heard a little pop, and I just see the tire pressure going down slowly and slowly. Well, not slowly, but fairly rapidly. So right then I just kind of took the exit going to Corpus Christi, heading towards the service center there. This was at like 10:30 at night, as the tire just kept going down. And I got within 9 miles when it was down like 6 pounds. And, I pulled over and tried to use my air pump, but the whole air was going out faster than the air pump could put it in there, so there's no way to add any extras. And then I had to get it towed to the service center, so I grabbed a hotel for the night. The next morning, the service center was more than happy to take care of me ASAP, but they were out of tires. So they had to work with the Brownsville service center, get them to meet halfway to get a tire. They finally got it done at 1 p.m. This is Veterans Day. I could have gotten a loaner vehicle, but I just wanted to get back on the road, so I just kind of waited. But, then I realized, well, it's Veterans Day. I missed my opportunity to go by and, have lunch for Veterans Day and all that. But yeah, another tire. That's 2 tires I had to replace. The previous one had a razor blade in it. So I have 2 new tires on the rear at 59,000 miles. So when the treads get low enough on the fronts, I will be only needing 2 new tires right now. And the other thing is, I didn't have the Tesla tire protection program because didn't have time to schedule an appointment and have them check it out. So at least they went ahead and did the pre-inspection of that for me. That way I couldn't go ahead and add it to it. And that way, if something happens to the front too, I would be kind of covered. And it's as I was there's another customer, and they're really upset because they're paying the $16 a month for the tire protection program, and they had a tire issue, and they went by Discount Tires and had their tire replaced. And then I guess he was trying to get Tesla to pay for that tire, since they had to pay out of pocket for that tire at Discount Tire, and because they didn't bring it to Tesla. And well, you know how that goes. No, that's through Tesla. It's a slightly different tire, and they wanted to exchange the tire for a new tire from Tesla. Be covered under that, but I didn't overhear all of it. I just was working on my stuff at the time. But Another plus while I'm sitting there in the service center waiting, somebody walked up to me and asked me if I had a referral code they can use. They were in there to buy a Tesla. So that's a plus. I do have my referral code in the description of my videos. If anybody is looking to buy a Tesla, it'd be nice if you use it. I mean, it's sad that I have it posted on the back seat in the car here, and I've given a ride to over 18,000 people in the past 5-6 years, and no one's used it. I cannot tell you how many people I've driven that they're impressed and they're going out and buying a Tesla, but they're not going to remember to use someone's referral code. They're going to be like that gentleman getting to the service center or what have you to order it, and then asking somebody there for their referral code. So I'm wondering what type of road work I'm going to run into on the way up here. If any. I'm trying to remember the last time I went this way, what issues I ran into. It's been a while that I took this route. Swerving back and forth for these tire marks and the black patches, alligator-cracks, I think they're called, in the older asphalt. When they started developing cracks, they put this tar, basically. It's not tar, but it's a patch for the asphalt for the cracks. It's surprising how such old asphalt just has those little patches there, and the newer asphalts have these damn potholes that pop up. And personally, that tells me that we're just not doing as good of a job that we used to do in building the roads. Yeah, $10 off EV Go charging. I don't use EV Go charging. It's more expensive than Tesla. So I don't care, Uber. But yeah, it's like the craftsmanship is not like it used to be. So many things that were built back in the day just last, and now these days it just doesn't last as long. Drop this down to a sloth mode because I don't know this town. I do notice the 14 does seem to slow down and for lights and stuff a lot sooner than before, which is nice and smooth, nice and comfortable. There's no jerking halt. Now, when I was talking about the cracks in the windshield, having to get the windshield replaced, all of those cracks that I've gotten in this car was from rock chips between Harlingen and McAllen. That road construction there. It's like they tear up the road like this on the interstate where the speed limit's 75, and several weeks later, then they will pave it. They let it sit like this for a while. But the thing is, they don't clean up the rocks from the grinding. You're there and you just hear the little rocks just pitting you everywhere. They don't care. They put a sign up saying loose gravel. But loose gravel on a 75 mile per hour road, that's not good. I mean, I've driven through Tennessee when they were doing a section of that interstate, braking for that bird, okay? When they were doing like a 10-mile stretch of the interstate. And when I was going up there, I was going to Nashville, Tennessee to do a network install. And I'm going there, and they had these trucks up there just starting to grind up the asphalt and stuff. But they also had other trucks behind it, cleaning, prepping, and then relaying asphalt. The next morning, when I was finished my network install going back, that entire section was completely done. Striped and everything, all in one night. I do not know why in places like this here, this takes months to do. You can see how they've grinded up the road to repave it. But why leave it like this for so long? You know, when you could be efficient and do it like they did up there and knock it out in one night. I don't, the efficiency is just, I don't get it. And, you know, it varies state to state. Yeah, I know, I was looking at the screen. You know, I would have to say this 14 version, besides it, you know, swerving to miss some things that it doesn't need to miss, it's at the point that I would be comfortable sleeping while the car drives. But, you know, things like this here, you know, we have a construction area coming up. I'm doing 65 in sloth mode. I actually have a police car right behind me. You know, he's right there. So if this sign, you know, all of a sudden drops down to a slower speed, but the car fails to see that, I have to disengage. And the thing I hate about that is sometimes I've disengaged because the car was either going too fast or it was a little bit too close to the car in front of me that I wasn't comfortable with. You know, just very rarely. You know, the car handles it, it does okay. I don't need to disengage in those moments. But what I hate is when I disengage and then I get dinged on my Tesla insurance for following too close or for excessive speeding. So FSD, what it does, the insurance itself doesn't like, it's Tesla insurance. I would figure the FSD would stay within the boundaries of the Tesla insurance. Or is it okay to follow closer if the computer's driving? Now, Sometimes it may miss the school zones and may go a little bit faster. Okay, now that is illegal. I would not say that is unsafe. The car is looking at the environment and driving its speed that it can handle. It does see, and it moved all over there for that truck passing me. It does see a lot more than I do. So if a kid was to run out the road, it will brake and handle it a lot faster than I can. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, not going at the speed limit is recommended in a school zone. But if you're going above it, you are doing it illegally. My reaction times versus the car's reaction times are different. The car sees more. I could be distracted looking at some other kid over the other side, seeing where they're going and not see the one on the right. I can only look in one direction at a time, where the car can see in multiple directions. I have even felt that a few times, that when I'm passing through a certain neighborhood, the car would start slowing down a little more than normal when some kids are bouncing a ball. It doesn't know where the ball's going to go. It doesn't know it's a ball. It just sees there's something moving over there that may potentially come into my line of travel. So it gets a little more cautious. Like I said, I don't mind just looking for an opening here. This is oh yeah, he finally turned his turn signal on. This is a 75 mile per hour road here. So these guys are coming pretty quick, so it feels like it can make it. So, what I'm saying, it's still safe. It just may be going faster than what they want you to do. And it's funny that if I'm in sloth mode in a 75, it does 70. So I put up the chill, it may go up to 75 eventually. You can either scroll up to change your speed, or go over here and choose it here on the screen. Or if I'm in chill here, let's go back down to sloth. Okay, I'm in sloth mode here. Now if I hit the accelerator and bring it up, now it switches to chill automatically. And if I go over 75, it may switch up. It'll keep switching up. So you have 3 different ways of increasing your speed. If you hit the brake, you disengage FSD completely, so you can't really slow down. Now, what I would like to see them add to FSD for the sudden dodging of, patches in the road and stuff, what it doesn't need to patch. It'll be nice if it will detect my hands on the wheel, detect my little bit of resistance on the wheel, and it can go ahead and let me handle swerving. In other words, like my hands here, meaning everything's okay and safe, keep going straight. It's not something to avoid. I'm ready to take over if needed to swerve out of the way of something. And that's for like when I'm going from the island to the Brownsville airport. It's constantly doing it. There's a lot of patches on that road near the LNG plant. Man, if you have a Martini sitting here, it'll be shaken by the time you've finished that stretch of road. Slight exaggeration, but it is pretty consistent. I mean, I understand it. It's hard to tell exactly what is in the road. Even these chunks of tires, you know, sometimes it's hard for me to see them or tell what they are. You know, depending on how they're laying on the pavement. It's like, is that a patch? And you get close to it, it's like, nope, that's a chunk of tire. And we see a lot of chunk of tires down here. Now, when I pass, you know, like Kingsville area, you know, all through Houston, you know, Louisiana and all that, I don't see as much. But it's like coming down after you pass Kingsville, every 2 or 3 minutes you just see chunks of tires on the side of the road. These truck drivers out here just drive until the tires explode. And they just leave them everywhere. And, you know, I've had people say, well, there's a lot of the vehicles from Mexico. That's, you know, the kind of how they do their tires. They don't check the tires. They just keep going until they need to be replaced and have roadside replace them. Like there's another chunk of tire right over there. A huge chunk. I mean, you got some chunks here. Even on this road here. Those usually have like steel belt in them, so you know you run over those things. They can do some damage. But what I would love to do, I would love to have like a. It'd be nice someone to buy one of these old oil change places, like the 5-hour, you know, 5-minute lube or what have you, where you can drive right in, and they change the oil in regular cars. But let's change that over for Tesla. You know, have it drive in so you can drive in and they can take the bottom panels off and clean out any of the dirt and stuff that builds up on the inside of those. You know, my Model 3 especially, it's amazing how many times the bottom panels got messed up from potholes and dips, and I recently got an aftermarket aluminum one that really is holding up nicely. But you go through high water, you just rip those panels off. I think it'll be nice to have that option. You know, that could be a business plan for somebody. You know, if you have a Tesla, would you go and try to clean out, you know, have the underside of your car under those covers cleaned out of all dirt and debris? And also, you know, you got the air intake in the front here going through the radiator and what have you. What about all the sand, leaves, feathers, dirt, cotton, you know, when driving through, you know, cotton fields that build up on the air exchangers? That should be cleaned regularly. I don't think that's in any of the Tesla services. I know I was kind of wondering about my performance on my Model 3, and I went by the service center in San Antonio, and I asked them, you know, if they could please clean that, and I said, yeah, it should be self-cleaning, but that should be no issue. You know, they say the angle that it's in and all this stuff, it should self-clean itself with water and airflow. And when they took it apart, they spent, you know, a good 15-20 minutes, and then they're like, okay, we're just going to replace it because it's going to take us many hours to clean it, and it'd be cheaper than spending the labor to clean it just to replace the air exchanger. It was so clogged with so much, and after that, yeah, car cooled quicker, easier. I mean, I wasn't having any real issues. It's just I felt it needs to be checked. But yeah, I mean, something like that. It would be nice if there's a little, somebody who has another side business. You see one of these oil change places that have a pit if they've gone out of business or what have you. That might be a good building to, pick up and use it for, a Tesla detailing, And not just that, you could be doing vinyl wraps and everything else too, but offering the extra detailing, cleaning out underneath and all that stuff would be really nice. You can also add the upgraded, aluminum undercovers and all that too. Because especially if those flooding waters, it's amazing how many times we have to replace those things. Wildlife crossing. And that's one thing I have a lot of customers, mention to me. It's like, yeah, but if you need anything on a Tesla, you have to go to a Tesla service center. Well, not necessarily. There are other places that will work on. They're hard to find. I don't have the money to go into a business like that myself. I'm struggling myself, and it's not easy. It's amazing that having to drive so far just to make money, because the Valley has gotten kind of really dead, and I think it's wrong that a short ride on the island, I'm only making about $3.10 on that ride, because Uber and everything comes out to about 65% is gone. Uber claims, it's everything else, the taxes and insurance and stuff. That's what Uber claims. But yeah, why on South Padre Island for a short 3 to 4 mile ride only pays $3.10, but the same length ride in Corpus Christi pays $6, and the customers are paying the same amount? Is there some local regulations that are taking more of that money? And I jokingly say that I'm slowly, waiting for my cat to pass away. Yeah, I love my cat. She's been there for me for a long time, too long time. She is about 20 years old. Her sisters passed away many years ago. And it's like right now, if it wasn't for having to go back to check on the cat every now and then, because I can't find anybody to watch her. If it wasn't for that, I can just drive all over the entire state and for the entire week. That was kind of aggressive for that arrow. And to signal after the turn was made, really? Okay. Or the
maneuver made. I didn't really see anything that would have been a hazard there or perceived as a hazard, except for the arrow in the road. If it thought it was something that wasn't an arrow, I don't know. One thing I would really, really like to see for our peace of mind, it's nice to have that blind spot camera, but when you're trying to turn into traffic, that's not helping me at all, because I'm not looking what's in the left-hand lane. I'm trying to see how the traffic's coming. But when the car makes moves like that, when it goes to avoid something like that, give us a camera view of what you're reacting to. Just throw that up there. This is why I switched lanes. This is why I braked. When people complain about phantom braking, which honestly I have not seen any phantom braking in a long time. I've had some braking, but looking around, I was able to see exactly why it did it. So it wasn't phantom braking. It's reacting to something like the birds in the road. It will react to the birds. It even shows them in the, you saw a little gray area there on the birds. But giving us that little extra information and showing us the video of what you're looking at and what you're reacting to, for me as a geek, would be cool to see. I don't want too much on the screen because it'd be distracting, and we should be paying attention to the road while the car drives, while it's still unsupervised. But whenever the car makes sudden, harsh moves, show us on the screen why you did that. Like it did see you saw little grays there for the birds on the side of the road, so it is seeing that. But that's hard for us to see exactly if it's seeing it or not. So giving us a little video of what you're looking at makes it better and clearer. Another thing I would like to see, the parking at the end of the location is very nice. It works most of the time. Sometimes it pulls into handicap spots. Sometimes it pulls into spots that are not parking spots, but ramps or ramps to the sidewalk for handicap. What I would love to see is when I'm pulling up to the destination, right when I'm getting in there, right when it's starting to start looking for a parking space, give us a little layout of the parking spaces that the car sees, so that we can, and show us which one it's planning to park in, so that we can just tap on the screen like, no, park over here, or no, let's make this curbside. I mean, I can tap here and go curbside, but give us a little more option, especially for me doing Uber and Lyft. If I'm pulling up, I have the location that the customer sent, but they may be 50 yards further up. Give me the option to say, I'm doing curbside, but go up further without having to intervene. That'd be a nice feature. To have there, to give us a little more control over where it parks. Give us that parking option. Now I'm going to end here, and I'm going to go to the supercharger up here. No, not that supercharger. Why do you want to? Come on. preconditioning. I kind of don't like the preconditioning because you lose some range on that. So then it's like your first few kilowatts, you're just replenishing what you just did for the preconditioning. Now this person is going to Three Rivers, so I wonder if I do Three Rivers. It's 131 miles. So I may, okay, I'm just going to put the gas station there. I have enough to make the trip to the customer's destination with 17% left. But since their ride's not till 10, so I'll be there about 45 minutes early. I don't know, maybe I get a ride or two in this little town while I wait. I don't know. I figure just go ahead and charge a little bit more there. That way, continue on to San Antonio afterwards. But I lost track of what I was actually saying beforehand. As I'm rambling here. But yeah, parking lots. Yeah, give us a little overview so we can pick an actual space if we want to park somewhere else. It would be nice if they did add auto parking, you know, just choose curbside and then, you know, let it know you're getting out and pick, you know, a parking space for it to go to afterwards and let it go. It can do it. I mean, if it can, you know, be summoned from a space, if it can auto park from a space, there is no reason why in the world it can't go and park itself. Now, using advanced smart summons and using that parking feature, you don't need to park close. You can park all the way on the other end of the parking lot, freeing up any of the closer spaces for anybody else using them. No need to park near the door. And then you summons it and it comes to you. So even if you are handicapped, you're getting out the door, the car doesn't need to park in a handicapped space. It can park in any space and come to you afterwards. You know, how long until that feature becomes available? And you know, I'm just thinking here, it's, I mean, look at my Model 3. Oh, when was the last time? The 8th was the last time I drove my Model 3 just to go to the car wash and back. It's been sitting there. In a way, I kind of miss driving that car, but I don't have FSD on there because I transferred. It was paid for in full. I transferred that to this car. I don't drive the Model 3 enough to justify spending $99 a month full self-driving. And now when I do drive it, I cannot stand driving it without FSD. It is that much different. nice if Tesla had a daily FSD rate. Now, I did hear something about Tesla's going to be renting cars now, which is something that I kind of think is a good idea, and I mentioned in one of my other videos. Yeah, and then more people experience it. And I think it was like $60 a day. And somebody was going on, and it's like, oh, that comes out to such a month. It's like, yeah, but if you look at $60 a day, Hertz was renting Teslas for $600 a week through the Uber rental program. That's for 7 days. That's more than $60 a day. And that doesn't include FSD, where the Teslas does. Now, to me, I kind of hate that, because it's like, okay, I have my Model 3. Okay, if I replace the windshield and fix the suspension on there and stuff, maybe I can rent that out for, $60, $70 a day on Turo or what have you. But who's going to rent that when they go straight to Tesla and rent a brand new car for $60 a day? And I think it's also with free supercharging and everything, so. Now, I had a customer ask me what I thought about the way things are going with robo-taxis, self-driving cars. How much is Tesla impacting the rest of the industry? How much of what I am not getting paid from Uber is going to supporting their partnership with Waymo? And, Uber's now, we don't need you drivers no more. We got these cars that drive themselves. And I really think it's funny when I'm giving someone a ride, they just say, oh, well, you're just making easy money. You just sit here and make money while the car does all the work. And it's like, okay, I can kind of see that in a way, but no, it's still my vehicle. I'm still making payments for it. I'm supporting the vehicle. I'm having my vehicle being allowed to be used by you, so get your damn feet off my dashboard. And yeah, I've had that. I've had customers get in the car, they put the passenger seat back, and they're sitting in the front passenger seat as I'm driving them. And next thing I know, I see them kicking off their shoes and socks and putting their feet up on the dash. And it's like, excuse me? I mean, I don't get some people sometimes. I really don't. And then I've also had people get in my car and they see the little note I have on my back seat, no smoking or vaping in the car. And I've had one actually just say flat out to me, it's like, I'll vape if I want to. You can't tell me what to do. It's like, wow. There are people who just have no respect. That's one reason why I would not be comfortable just letting my car go out and drive people without me in it. Now, if I had that option, then yeah, okay, yeah, fine. I'll prefer to stay in my car. But, what if one day I had some, 5 people who needed a ride and I don't have enough room, then I could just say, well, I will stay here and I'll just have my car drive you there and come back. More chunks of tires all over the road, as you see. That'd be a nice option. But I keep stuff in my car. So to let my car go out and drive people without me in it, the car would have to be dedicated for just that. You know. Okay, so we got this 3 border patrols pulling up a car or a truck, and I see a lot of activity at the border patrol. Even yesterday, I'm sitting at the Mercedes supercharger, and I just see the Wendy's there at that gas station, and here comes border patrol walking somebody out with handcuffs behind their back to the car, or actually in front of her, to the truck, and just putting her in. And so I don't know if she was working there or what, but it's a controversial topic. As I've said, my girlfriend's Chinese. I have a lot of Chinese friends and what have you. They're worried. All the Chinese ones that I know, they have green cards or work permits, but they're still worried. They hear horror stories. But none of them's had any issues. I think it's strange that, I can use a scroll button to change up and down, standard, or chill, or left and right. So they both do the same thing. Change the speed profile up and down, left to right. Well, can we remap that to do something else, like we can for the other one? Can we make the left and right, some other feature? And if so, what feature would we choose? And if I hold this here, I can pull up a glove box, pin. If I hold that, no, I don't. Hold that. Okay, open glove box, dome lights, defrost, camera, steering wheel, heater, acceleration mode. Okay, save dash cam, brightness, fold mirrors, fan speed, temperature none. Now, one thing I have noticed, it'd be nice if we had an option there to not just fold the mirrors, but to change the mirrors or change the steering wheel adjustments or switch your profile presets. So if I want to have different seating positions for different things. Because when I'm on a long road trip, sometimes I like to go back a little further. But one thing I've noticed in the recent updates, if I do save footage, command not understand. It got it right, save footage. It used to automatically save dash cam footage when you said that. Now it doesn't. So they removed that command. Let's ask Ara. Hey Ara, how are you doing today? I got a question for you. Do you know what the voice commands are in a Tesla Model Y in the current software? I mean, if I want to save dash cam footage, what would I say?
I'm doing great, thanks. Hope you're having a solid morning too. For saving dash cam footage on your Model Y, just say, save dash cam while it's rolling. That grabs the last 10 minutes straight to your USB. Easy, right?
Okay. Save dash cam. Okay, so they changed it. Save footage sounds a lot more natural than dash cam. Why they can't have multiple commands? I don't know. But yeah, that's something where you got to dig through the notes of each software update, which is funny. You buy a car, you get to know the car, you get a software update, and now you got to relearn the car again. Makes you feel like you bought a new car again. Hey, Ara, question for you. Can you list all the different voice commands for my Tesla Model Y?
Sure thing. There's a ton, but I'll hit the main ones quick. For climate, try make it warmer, cool down the passenger, or turn on seat heater. Navigation, drive to or find superchargers nearby. Lights, turn on dome lights or headlights on. Media's fun, play on Spotify or open Netflix. Vehicle stuff like enable Sentry mode or open frunk. Even silly ones work, like blow me for max fan speed. Want me to dive deeper on any category?
Any other fun ones?
Oh yeah, Tesla's got some playful Easter eggs. Try open butthole for the rear hatch, keep it chill to turn on cabin overheat protection, or punch out to blast the horn like a fighter jet. My fave, happy birthday. It'll play a silly song if it's your day. Got
Okay.
any more you're curious?
Okay, what was the one for blasting the horn?
Punch out, say it clear, and it'll blast the horn like you're in a cockpit.
Okay, is it a different sound?
No, it's just your regular horn, but louder and quicker, like a jet whoosh mixed in. Super satisfying if you want to startle someone.
Huh. Punch out? Map updated. Huh. Okay, so that didn't do anything. So I was wrong about that, but blow me. Command I don't understand. Okay. So undoubtedly she doesn't actually know all the actual commands, or they have changed. This truck is not really done a good job staying in his lane. I've noticed him going over the line a few times here. The open butthole does not open the rear hatch, it opens the charge port. Let me hop my phone back onto my Starlink. I do have a Starlink Mini dish mounted in the back. It'll really be nice if, Tesla would offer a Tesla plan, for like a lower rate on the Starlink Mini dish for unlimited data in the Tesla itself for what the car uses. I do like the Starlink. I wish if there was a little more options where I can go and see more of a history. Not just since it's been powered up. Yeah, I want to see all the devices that connected to it and how much they have downloaded or how much data they've used. More chunks of tires or what have you. And you know, I've been in the IT computer field since the 70s. And it's funny because I'm thinking about using one of my spare little Raspberry Pis and put it somewhere in the back, powering it up, and just have my own local NAS in the car for some of my work. Because right now I'm constantly, you know, running out of space on the laptop when I'm working on stuff. And it'd be nice to be able to have a NAS in the car and sync up with my NAS back home. So just have like a mobile folder. That way I can work on stuff here, save it to that NAS, have it using the Starlink, upload all that to the other NAS, and then when I get back I can transfer that, you know, from that folder to another one a lot quicker, or do it remotely. Either way, once the files are there, I don't need them, free up the space. Currently having my laptop writing some time-lapse videos. Then I got to work on the monthly time-lapse. Doing some of these drive videos do take up a lot of time, and uploading and editing, and it's hard for me to find that time anymore, and I'm hoping to stay busy. And we're coming up to the inspection station, they call it, but yes, Border Patrol. Now the thing is, I'm going down to sloth mode here, but you see this here is now dropping down to a 45. They want you to go down a lot slower, coming up to it. Let's see how the car, at least we have a lead car helping us slow down. It's still showing 75. And then they want you to drop down to 20 here. Kind of like a school zone. Let's see if it sees that. Another flash. Okay, it does see that. That's good. Go up to chill because 20 is really awfully slow. So we have 4 lanes, 2 are open, 2 are closed. Now, something like this, like I say, it'd be great to key on the windows. As I lowered the window to talk to the officer, once I stop there, stay stopped until I tell it to proceed. It's being cautious around the dog and the person. Go for it.
How you doing, sir?
Just fine. The car is driving.
Oh, okay. I get you. Are you by yourself?
Yes.
Have a good one, sir.
No problem.
Thank you.
Now you can go. So yeah, he's getting aggravated because I'm not pulling up all the way. Of course, the car's being cautious because there's a person there. So, yeah. So I didn't have to disengage for that. I don't want to waste his time to see what would happen. Okay, it still thinks we're in a 20, but we're actually getting up here to where it's supposed to speed up. So come on. I got it in hurry mode. It's still waiting for a sign. So yeah, this is something where, 45. It still thinks it's under 20. That sign is really messed up. So it ignored that sign. Well, no, it didn't. Okay. Or it's seen the second one. I don't know. So let me drop it out of Mad Max. They really need to rename that Mad Max to, like, just give me a ticket. What if we non-full self-driving mode, the car detects your speeding. We'll give you, automatically issue a speeding ticket. It'll be funny. I mean, I can imagine that like a town like Los Fresnos, works with Tesla, says, this is what we want to do. We want to automatically issue speeding tickets. If one of your Teslas passes through the town, it's going too fast. Sort of like a traffic camera or the speeding ticket cameras were built into the Tesla. Could you imagine that one day you're driving, you're not using full self-driving, you're driving, all of a sudden a message comes up, congratulations, you were going 15 over the speed limit. This is your citation. What was that movie? With Sylvester Stallone, that he kept getting automatic tickets for cussing or cursing. Demolition Man, I think it was. Save $10 on EVgo fast charging. I went and accepted this one here. 43-minute drive, only paying $24. Kind of sad, but I don't think I'll be back to Harlingen this afternoon. I'm going to continue on where it's busier. Somebody else take that reservation. And Uber, you need to start doing something about these reservations and the bonuses and surges. If we get a surge or bonus on the next ride, it needs to apply to the reservation rides as well. Yeah, if you get a surge or bonus, yeah, hopefully you can use it before your reservation ride. But sometimes it's so slow in this area, no, you don't see any other rides for hours. So I'm 7.1 miles. Let's see if we can get this to get to the supercharger safely here. It's at another Circle K. I haven't had much luck with the Circle Ks. It's doing the preconditioning for it and everything now. I don't mind now because, I'm not going to lose that much range. Now, if you don't precondition your battery, you're charging. Okay, wait a second. Let me spit that out and read it back here. If you don't precondition your battery, you're charging slower because it will start preconditioning or start conditioning the battery as it's charging, so it may pick up. But either way, I am still, will be there at 49%, so I'm not very low. So I'm not going to hit the full 200 kilowatts when it charges. No, it doesn't. That I only see down, around the 1% to 20 or 30%. And then it starts slowing down there and there. It'll be nice if we can get that full 250, or in this case 325 kilowatt max for up to 80%. That'll be really nice. Charging will be a whole lot faster. But that is a lot more of a shock to the battery and can cause more, deterioration of the battery over time. But since I am getting here relatively early, as in, a good 45 minutes early for this scheduled ride, I figured let's go ahead and add some more. Okay, it actually straddled that. It moved over roughly for that, and like I say, it'd be nice to have that little visualization there. But that was roadkill, and it actually straddled that. That went dead center. So it didn't run over it. Now, did it mean to straddle it? I don't know. But I'd much rather it do that than to run over it and get roadkill splattered all over my car. I've had that before, not in the 14 version, but in previous versions where, it went over and that smell just hung with the car for a while. I had to go through the car wash many times trying to get all of it off. Drop it down to chill. See all the chunks of tires everywhere. But yeah, like I say, it is very safe. Sometimes a little too safe, avoiding things it doesn't need to avoid. But I much rather it do that and then to avoid something it should have avoided. Or not avoid something that it should have avoided. We can't guarantee that all roads are clean and there's no tire marks and there's no miscoloration in the pavement. It varies, depends on where you're at. Some of these country roads are almost impossible for it to tell. There's nothing but a pothole I've been in. And that's, you know, where using the front bumper camera and stuff to see how deep these potholes are would be better. I'm dropping down to sloth mode here. See a lot of police activity out in the area. So you're going to go to the light instead of using the U-turn lane. Okay. You are taking a different route than before, because you used to go up this way through town. So it is choosing a different. That's one thing about FSD and the navigation and AI is sometimes it's hard to get it to repeat something. It'll do something different each time. Just like returning to the hotel, yeah, it'll pull into the destination charger and park. I can't specify which one. And, you know, occasionally it will pick the wrong one. Okay, they had the road blocked here. Let's see how the car handles this. Do not enter one way. So it is actually rerouting. Okay, it saw that nice and early. And, you know, that wasn't like a proper barrier. Those are kind of thin little pipes that would be, you know. But it saw it. The navigation had totally different. But it saw it. So yeah, that was kind of impressive. Well, not, I mean, it does it quite often whenever I come to these, but it's nice to see it doing that. So it's not like it's going to try to drive through the barrier, even though it thought it could have done it, or it thought the route was viable, and that looks like a temporary closure for whatever reason. Right now it's waiting for it to be clear. We also have this other car here turning. Now we're waiting on the car on the left. But yeah, give us a visual, see what we're waiting on. Yeah, if we're waiting for this car in front of us, show us a video of that. What you're concentrating on. What's your top priority is at that time. Now, the supercharger's in the back. This one here never seems, it should be going to the charger. Yeah, it's selected charger. And it is in the front of the Circle K. Is it going to go around? No, it's going to back up in front of the Circle K. This is not correct. And not only that, it's backing up into a handicap space. And I don't know why that guy is standing there. So let's try this again. We want to go to the supercharger. I'm going to supercharger here. Boom. We're already in that. We want to engage some driving. Let's see if we can attempt number 2, get it to get to the supercharger like it's supposed to. It is set to go to the charger, and it is going
out of the parking lot. So I'm having to descend still can't get to this supercharger. So we're still heading to it. Now I'm gonna point straight to the superchargers. Here we go. No. We want to navigate to the supercharger. Navigate to the supercharger. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I should have went ahead. Let's see if it should not be this hard to have to point straight at the supercharger, and it should know where these are. It really should. This supercharger and the one in Alice both have issues of finding it. At least this one, it got into the Circle K parking lot. It failed. I would say it failed by parking into a handicap spot where I'm not handicapped. We need to have that option in there to say if we can use a handicap spot or not. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here and plug in and charge and get ready for my upcoming ride in 45 minutes here.